up the champagne, pop. It's my house, come on, turn it up.
Welcome to another edition of Wings Weekly. Jay Klein Connect here, of course, with head coach Scott Langer. A coach, basically a kind of tough weekend up in Bismarck. I thought a very good game, exciting game, and pretty clean overall. End up getting a point going into overtime, but ended up being a loss. But again, a lot of positives that can come from Friday night's matchup up there in Bismarck against a good Bismarck Bobcat team. What did you think of Friday night's matchup?
Well, I mean, I thought we competed. Obviously, we went down a couple times, but we battled our way back, and I thought our goaltending was pretty decent. We were one chance from winning the hockey game, and we just couldn't finish it out. But I thought our guys, played a real solid road hockey game.
Yeah. Effort was definitely there, physicality, but yet disciplined, as you and I kind of talked about pregame that night, was going to be one of the keys, and I think the Wings did a really good job of executing and finishing checks and so on, but yet staying pretty disciplined. Then we kind of move on to Saturday night, and a little bit of a different story Saturday night. Not as much discipline, a lot of emotion from both teams, actually, and an exciting game that the crowd certainly got a lot of entertainment value from. Unfortunately, a loss there against the Toros. Coach, what were your thoughts on Saturday night's matchup?
Well, I mean, we certainly didn't come out to play that game. There's no question, no excuses. We just didn't play, and they found a way. They responded from their loss on Friday night, and they came in here and played a heck of a game. We didn't show much compete until the third period. When we kind of had to stick up for ourselves, but it was not a good home game here in the Odie, that's for sure.
Well, I noticed, at the beginning of the game, I know I mentioned during the broadcast at some point during the first period and then at the first intermission that it just felt like there was something just slightly amiss, like some, just not firing on all cylinders or whatever the case. Second got a little better in some aspects anyway, but some key turnovers and things like that allowed the Toros to score and capitalize on those turnovers. And then, as you said, in the third, come out, score a goal, and early in the third. And I thought how you described it was exactly how it appeared too, is that they were fired up, ready to come out in the third and defend the Odie. And there was plenty of big hits and. Of course, a couple of fights and a couple of gangs or groups in the corners pushing and shoving. A lot of that going on in that matchup. Coach, you played the game. You've coached for many years, and I was curious as the game went along if in a game like that where there is so much emotion and so much physicality and stuff, can it become a distraction where you're almost thinking about who you're going to hit next or how you're going to get back for some, retaliate against somebody rather than actually focusing on scoring goals and sticking with the game plan? Can that become a little bit of a detraction or just distraction?
Well, I mean, it can. At the point of the game that they started taking liberties with us and our guys had to defend themselves. The game was kind of out of reach at that point, but. It can be. I don't think our approach to the game by any means was to go out there and get into that type of game. Our full intentions were to go out there and play a hard-nosed game, but be right in it. And it wasn't that way. After Joey Strada scored that first goal of the game, we should have had 4 or 5 good shifts in a row, and we didn't. And that was kind of the difference in the hockey game.
Yeah, and I hate to do this because I don't want to sit here and bash referees or whatever, but it seemed like they didn't really have very good control of that game. Because as you said, they start taking some liberties, and then it's you got to get them back, and there was some hits and some stuff going on that it just seemed like most referees would have reeled that in a little bit. I know I heard that from the stands and from the crowd a little bit too, that it just felt like the game had gotten out of control a little bit. Is there something as a coach and as a staff that you can do, when things get like that?
No, I mean, it's the job of the officials. They're paid by the North American Hockey League to keep the game under control. it's our job as a hockey team to police it and to make sure that there is no liberties taken with our players. I mean, that's just how it's going to be, especially as long as I'm here. But it is the official's job is to keep control of that hockey game and to not let it get to the level it got to. You know, or else you're asking the players to do all the policing, and I don't think that's what our game's about.
Right. Right. Well, a lot of penalties assessed in that one. As I said, I know there were some fans in the stands that certainly felt like they got their money's worth. Would have liked to see a Wings win for sure, but a lot of big hits and again some extracurricular stuff there as well. Again, pretty entertaining weekend overall. Unfortunately, coming away with 1 point. Coach, looking ahead a little bit, Bobcats come. We'll talk about that here in just a bit. But how do you prepare for the Bobcats? Do you go through? Walk us through the week, I guess, maybe if you would, as far as practice goes.
Well, I mean, you know, obviously our approach is towards Bismarck, but you know, we have some things to get back to start this week. You know, we have to get back to working and understanding what it takes at this level to win hockey games, and it starts with preparation right from today on. I mean, you can't just, you know, think that you're going to step up to the level come Friday night. I mean, you have to get to that level during the week, and you have to maintain it. You should be practicing at that level. And when I talk about level, I'm talking about intensity and everything else and preparation that comes along with it. You know, so you know we're going back to work this week, and we're working on exactly that. We're working on work, and obviously we'll get into some of the you know, stuff that we have to do and do well against Bismarck as the week goes on. But you know, right now this is a focus on us.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll hear a little bit about the Bobcats and some other events that are coming up this weekend as well. We'll talk about that after we return from these words from our sponsor.
Let's make a taco. No, seriously. Start with a tortilla, soft tortilla. Warm it, kiss it. Don't kiss it. Chicken? How about tequila lime chicken? Now we're cooking. Slice this, peel that, snip those. Salsa? Verde. Cheese? Cotija. Oh, forgot to mention. Guac. That's better. See, anyone can make a taco, but we're not anyone. We're Qdoba, and these are knockout tacos. Qdoba Mexican Eats. Choose flavor.
Second portion of Wings Weekly starts now. Jay Klein Connect again here with head coach Scott Langer. And coach, we talked a little bit about the weekend's matchups and the outcome of those games. Again, not in the score column, not necessarily the way that the Wings would have liked, but I thought Friday's game against the Bobcats was a well-played game. And I wanted to ask a little about stylistically at some point, as you start to see these teams, is it a matter of, as you were talking about before the break, preparation and things like that when you play well against a team like Bismarck and then on Saturday night not so well against the Toros? Or can it be styles and how teams match up against one another?
You know, obviously it can be. I mean, we're certainly prepared to play against both teams and both styles and what they're bringing to the table. And you know, our guys being a little youthful, you know, as a youthful team, you know, it's not easy for them to adjust from one night to the other, but I think they're getting better at it. Mm-hmm. You know, but it all comes down to hard work and being able to outwork your opponent. And I feel that we do have the personnel to do that. I don't feel like we've been doing that consistently. You know, and once we learn to battle at that rate every single night, I think the wins will start, you know, coming into our column. But until we learn to work at the rate that you need to work to win a game at the junior A level, it's going to be difficult, and we're going to be scratching and clawing the whole way.
Okay. Well, I wanted to congratulate Tristan Eisenhower on a point streak as he continues to score goals, and then on Saturday night with an assist. Joey Strada scored early on Saturday night, and then Riley Murphy tacked one on early in the third. So some highlights for sure. Coach, Bobcats coming to town. First time that the crowd will see the Bobcats here in the Odie this year, and those games are always intense. And we've talked before about rivalries and so on. And again, you know, your Wings played them strong up in Bismarck. And you know, we talked a little bit about before the break about how this week of practice is going to be about work. What about the Bobcats themselves that you see on video or maybe even live during games? Is there anything that as an approach that you can do as it gets closer to game time against a team like the Bobcats?
I mean, you got to be sharp. You got to be on top of your game, and you got to have all four lines and your goaltending going, because they have a deep lineup. They have four lines that can take it to you. They have excellent goaltending at this point. That's even when they're not playing at their best, is keeping them in the game, and I think that's important. We need to see that from our guys as well, and we have the capabilities of going four lines strong and getting it done. They're a good hockey team. They're well coached, but we definitely have the ability to beat them, and we're going to go with that approach again this week.
Okay. Well, the Bobcats come to town Friday and Saturday night, 7:15 puck drop here at the ODI Center. Friday night, Halloween night. Kids wearing costumes will receive a discount on admission at the door, and there'll be a candy toss on Friday, October 28th. Again, puck drop at 7:15. Saturday night, October 29th, it's college night. Show a valid college ID and receive a discount on admission at the door. Tailgate party in the Expo, put on by the NSU Sports Marketing and Administration class. Also, Camp Dreammakers jersey auction, November 12th, following the game versus Minot, auctioneer Val Jark of Jark Worley Auction. So that's coming up November 12th. But again, Friday and Saturday, Aberdeen Wings versus the Bismarck Bobcats, 7:15 puck drop. You can also hear it on 94.1 The Rock and FastHockey.com. That'll pretty much wrap up this week's Wings Weekly.